Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, December the 3rd, 2021. I have not put up a video in 6 months, or just 5 days short of 6 months. So that's what this video is about, just to kind of give everybody an update on where things are at. I just received the phone call here this afternoon that the plane is ready to be picked up next week. The test flight was done today. Everything worked good. I'll just give you guys some background here with a real quick video. As you all, and I actually have notes because it's been quite the experience. We took the plane up to Avionics Place. That was the last video I put up on June the 8th. With an original plan to install 2 new yokes, 3 GI 275s, an STEC-3100 autopilot. We had an expected 30 or 45 to 60 day install was what I was thinking. The install was done the first week of August, so it was right on 60 days. But there was a week of Oshkosh was in there, so I give the guys at the at Avionics Place a break on that week because everybody wanted to be up at Oshkosh. After the install was finished, there were some questions raised. When they did the ground test, they were testing the system, and the force required to override the autopilot on the ground, so no air loads on the airframe, was 65 pounds a pole, which is very excessive. Anything more than 40 is very excessive. And 40's a lot. So an initial test flight was conducted in which the autopilot it wouldn't hold altitude. And coming down the ILS glide slope, it was pitching 7 degrees up, 10 degrees down, chasing the needle. It just would not follow the glide slope. It did a little bit better on an LPV or a GPS approach than it did on the ILS, but it was no way you could fly with that. The rest of the stuff went fine. The yoke install went good. The 3 275s were good. It was the 3100 is what's been holding us up. The airplane was then the rest of August and most of September. Avionics Place and Genesis Aerosystems, or S-Tec, they tried to troubleshoot the problem. And we're talking new servos, taking out the servos that had just been rebuilt, putting new ones in, new computer, adjusting cable tensions, multiple test flights. Nothing worked. It was a period of 45 days that they were just trying all kinds of different things, trying to figure out why this wasn't working. S-Tec was, now of course I was talking to them on the phone. I'm like, hey, what's taking so long? They're blaming the install. My installer, Avionics Place, there's 4 techs over there that know what they're doing, and they all went and looked at it, and they're all in agreement. No, the install was fine. Actually, they did a video call at one point with S-Tec, trying to do troubleshoot it via video. Avionics got down to the point where they thought it was the gain settings in the computer. So after that whole period, S-Tec finally said that they were going to send one of their people from Texas up here. Unfortunately, he could not be up here until the end of October. I wanted to give them every opportunity to make sure that, hey, if it's something with the install, I was actually hoping it was, because it'd been an easy fix. Guy came up, the end of October now, so I'm 4.5 months in, and the install. He couldn't find any issues with the install. Or I was 4 months into that point. So he comes up, no problems with the install. And they then start test flighting the aircraft. And he gets in there with his laptop, and for 2 days, they would go up once or twice, tweak gains in the computer to tweak the autopilot, and they got it partially dialed in. Unfortunately, at the end of the second day, or fortunately for me, at the end of the second day, I'm told that even with these new gains, they would have to seek approval on their approved autopilot to make these gain adjustments. In other words, I couldn't take the plane with the gains in it. And that approval process is another 8 to 10 weeks. At that point, I tapped out. I did not sign up to be a beta tester. I thought this was approved. I thought this was all going to be an easy install. At 2 months, and I'm now 4 months in, told I got another 2 months. So I told him, take it out. I don't want it. I did not sign up to be the beta tester. I didn't want him flying my plane anymore. At that point, they asked that I fly the plane down to Texas, where they could work on the gains to get it correct. And I'm 4 months in. My entire flying season is done this year. It's gone. Or, well, the enjoyable part of the flying. You can fly in winter, of course, but family trips and all that's gone. Multiple business trips I had to drive, wasting more time. Of course, I'm still paying for the hangar. I'm still paying for insurance. I'm still paying for databases. They're racking up airframe hours and engine hours. And I'm already coming up, February is not too far away, and I got to go back into annual, and I've had like 4 flights. The test pilot who was doing all this for me up in because I'm 2.5 hours away, and there's a retired airline pilot there that was willing to fly it for me, and so he's got more hours in it this year than I do, So anyway, it's all wasted. So they pulled the STEC-3100 out, and I ordered a Garmin GFC 500. The install and test flight was today, and the GFC 500 flew perfect. At one point, S-Tec was saying, "Oh, your airframe's not correct, or there's something wrong with the airframe." And, well, you all can watch the videos. I can sit there and be talking with my hands, and the plane's flying hands off. Once it's trimmed out, there's nothing goofy with the airframe. I knew that, but it boiled down to their autopilot simply was not ready. It was approved, but not ready. Subsequently, I've heard stories from other 3100 installs on a Cardinal and on 2 other Comanches, including a 400, which is the one that the autopilot was approved in, that they're having a similar issue with altitude hold. I'm wondering if it's something to do with analog servos and a digital computer. Maybe there's something there that's not talking. I don't know. Anyway, I tapped out. I received the phone call today. It's all ready. It flew perfect. First time right out of the gate. Didn't even have to adjust anything. On the plus side, we did get to stay in miles an hour because the STEC-3100 was all knots. So we did get to stay in miles an hour, and I was able then to retain the airspeed indicator, the steam gauge, which is good for me because that's where my eye naturally tracks when I think airspeed. So, and the angle of the needle is easier to read than the tape for me anyway, and maybe that's just because I've never done it before. But anyway, I need to get up there next week. I'm completely out of any kind of currency. So I'm going to have to get the instructor and get the plane back down here, which is going to be an interesting flight. Get with an instructor and get all my currencies back up before I can utilize the plane, you know, with family and that type of thing. Also, I switched back to Garmin Pilot, so I got to get back used to that. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the update. I hope you all have a great weekend. As soon as I get everything kind of dialed in, figure out what I'm doing, I've got a lot of learning. I got the instructor lined up to get some new procedures to utilize the autopilot to its effectiveness. I'll put together a video with each new piece of equipment. And there was one thing I found, that there was a guy down in Florida, flies a Mooney. He's done a lot of videos, and they helped me some. But I'm going to sit there and do a video on the GI-3100 and each screen and what it does, and because I just couldn't find anything out there. And then the GI-275s, each screen, what they do, and then the autopilot. Anyway, that's it. I hope everybody has a great week. A nice weekend. It's Friday. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.